in 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay. Try answering this, everyone. Which of the following students correctly created a story problem that can be represented by the expression? I'll write down the expression here for those it's not visible. It's 7 over 9 divided by 1 over 5. Okay, that is what we have. Hurry up, everyone. Okay, so none of you got the answer correct. Why exactly is this happening? Okay, guys, just give me 1 second. I am not able to turn off the annotation. Let me try sharing again. Okay, yes, so none of you could get the answer correct. Let's see what exactly was the question about and how exactly what we were supposed to work it out. So which of the following students correctly created a story problem that can be represented by the expression 7 over 9 divided by 1 over 5? Pete has 7/9 of an hour to finish his homework. Pete can complete a math problem in 1/5 of an hour. Right, so we have 7 over 9 to be divided by 1 over 5. Now, this person, Pete, he had 7/9 of an hour. He can complete a math problem in 1/5 of an hour. So, how many problems can Pete complete? Right. So, one problem can take 1/5 of an hour. Hennet, I can see your question. Let me just wrap this up and then we'll see if I can zoom in onto this. So, probably it'll be a little bit more visible to you people. So yes, one math problem is done within 1/5 of an hour, and he has 7/9 of an hour, right? So how many problems in 7/9 of an hour? So when you cross multiply, you get this exact same expression. That is why the student number 1 is going to be correct on this, right? So did everyone understand this particular question? Any queries, any difficulties regarding this? Anyone? Did everyone understand this? A little thumbs up might work. Okay, great. Henith, I'll try to zoom in, like I said. Okay, Shravan, my audio is unclear and glitchy. Okay, Shravan, give me a moment. I'll check upon it. Okay, can everyone confirm if my audio is unclear or glitchy? If I see hands raised, that would mean that my audio is unclear. Okay, even if that would be a contradicting statement. Okay, let's continue with this. If you feel that it's going a little bit too much on a glitchy path, we'll see how we can work that out. Okay, so we don't have any sort of scores up here because none of you could get the correct answer. But let's see how it goes on with the second question. We have 20 more questions to work through. So choose the correct option here. Mike has a length of yarn 2/3 of a meter long. He wants to cut the yarn into pieces that are 1/6 of a meter long. How many pieces can Mike cut out from the yarn? Okay, so that's good to see 7 of you getting the answer correct. So let's see what the question was. The question said Mike has a length of yarn that is 2/3 of a meter long. He wants to cut the yarn into pieces that are 1/6 of a meter long. Okay, now how many pieces can Mike cut from the yarn? Okay, so what it says over here is he wants to cut the yarn into pieces that are 1/6 of a meter long and he has 2/3 of a meter. So from 2/3 of a meter, he can cut how many pieces? So that would be 2/3 divided by 1/6. So that would be 2 over 3 times 6 over 1. 3 times 1, 3 times 2, we get the answer as 4. Does the question make sense to all of you? Okay, great. So let's move on to the next question. But before that, let's have a look at the scoreboard. Okay, so Sonryu is on the first position, Teresa is on second. I can see that smile, Teresa. The lovely second position smile. Shravan, Henith, and Shauryaveer following up next. Okay, good. Okay, try and work this out. Okay, so we have got 10 people answering it correctly. So again, let's have a look at the question. It says, Ahmed has a piece of wood that is 3/4 of a meter wide. He wants to cut the piece of wood into pieces that are 1/8 of a meter wide. How many pieces can Ahmed cut from the wood? So what do you think we should be doing with this question? It's quite similar to the one that we had worked out prior to this. So any idea what needs to be done over here? Okay, so I have been getting a few answers. Yes, division, that's absolutely correct. When we divide the numbers, what we get is the answer, which happens to be option number 2 over here, that is 6. Okay, so over here, I suppose all of you got the part where we need to divide 3/4 by the number 1/8. So that is going to be 3/4 times 8 over 1. So 4 times 1, 4 times 2, that gets us the answer as 6. Did everyone understand this, please? Okay, so Henith has moved up a position and the rest of you have been quite maintaining your positions over here. Getting on with the fourth question, let's try this out. A quilt pattern calls for 3/4 of a foot of thread for each quilt square. How many quilt squares can be made with 7 1/2 feet of thread? So I've written down the numbers here. Okay, so let's see. 7 of you have got the correct answer over here. And what we have next is, some of you have gotten it incorrect, but let's try to see where exactly you people were unable to work this out. So when we have a look at this question, a quilt pattern calls for 3/4 of a foot of a thread for each quilt square. How many quilt squares can be made with 7 1/2 feet of thread? Okay, so over here we can see that the answer is going to be 10, but let's see how exactly that can be done. So first what we need to do is we need to convert 7 1/2. So that becomes 7 times 2 is 14, 14 plus 1 is 15. Okay, so as of now we need to identify how many quilt squares can be made with 15/2 feet of thread. Right, so one of them asks for 3/4. How many of them can be made by 15/2? So that's 15/2 divided by 3/4. So we get 15/2 times 4/3. 3 times 5, 2 times 2, we get the answer as 10. So all of these questions are heavily based on the identification of what needs to be divided, where exactly it needs to be divided. Right, so we've got Sonryu, Teresa, Shauryaveer, Henith, and Shravan keeping up with their positions. Now moving on to the fifth question for the day. Stephen has five Stephen has 5 3/4 cups of a sugar to make cupcakes. If Stephen used 5/20 of a cup of sugar for each cupcake, how many cupcakes can Stephen make? Okay, so let's see how many of you were able to get it correct. So if we just have a look, 7 of you could get it correct. 2 plus 1 plus 2, that is 5 of you were not quite sure as to what needed to be done. So what we had was Stephen had 5 3/4 cups of sugar to make cupcakes. So that is 23/4 cups of sugar. If he uses 5/20 of a cup of sugar for each cupcake, how many cupcakes could he make? So for 1, if he needs 5 over 20, we can also simplify this to 1 over 4. Then how many cupcakes could he have made in 23 over 4? So this one is quite simple. 23 over 4 cups of sugar he has, and he needs 1/4 of a cup of sugar for every cupcake. So 23 over 4 divided by 1/4 is going to be 23. So the 5 students who could not get it correct, including the ones who could get it correct, do you understand this question? If I can get a little thumbs up on this. Everyone? Okay, wonderful. So let's have a look at the scoreboard quickly. Okay, so Teresa, can I have that beautiful smile of yours one more time now that you've moved to the first position? Okay, wonderful. So Teresa is leading up the scoreboard and the competition of having a beautiful smile. Okay, moving on to the next one. Which of the following is equivalent to 3/4 divided by 2 over 5? Okay, so 8 of you have gotten correct. Again, we have 5 people who could not get it correct. Let's see how or what needed to be done in this question. So for, division of fractions, always keep the abbreviation KFC in mind. K stands for keep, F stands for flip, and C stands for change. So we need to keep the first fraction as it is, that is 3/4. Flip the next one, that is f over 2, sorry, 5 over 2. I am too much involved in KFC right now. So even the 5 is kind of looking like f to me. And then change means we need to change the division sign to a multiplication one. So this would get us 3 times 5 as 15, 4 times 2 as 8. So this brings the answer to 15/8, which is the first option. So did everyone understand this, please? Great, wonderful. Okay, so the same people maintaining their positions. Sonri went ahead and switching their positions a little bit. But nevertheless, moving on to the 7th one. Try and find the answer for this, everyone, please. Okay, so we have a very huge and a very nice score over here. 10 of you getting it correct. Only 2 of you, unsure of this. So we have 5 over 6 to be divided by 2/3. So this means this needs to be multiplied with 3 over 2. This is 3 times 1, 3 times 2. So we multiply and we get the answer over here as 5 over 4. But that doesn't happen to be as one of the options. So again, it was a tricky question. So what we do over here is we multiply both the numerator and denominator by 3. So we have 15 over 12, and that gets us the answer as option number D. So is the question clear to everyone? Great. Moving on to the next one. Okay, so Teresa, I don't know what exactly you've been doing, but you have been maintaining your position for quite a long time. Sonru following up next, Heneth, Aditya, and Keshav following up right after that. Great. And apart from that, we have a pointer where David is the highest climber. So David, kudos to you again for that. Upon this, we'll move over to the 8th question. So Nick and Emma are solving a division equation. The solutions Nick and Emma created are shown below, but one is incorrect. Click on the solution that is incorrect. Okay, so we have 8 people over here who've got the correct answer. I think this question was not a little straightforward, so maybe that was the reason that all of you were not able to quite work it out. So if we check over here, we can see that the answer reflects that Nick subtracted 140 from 152 incorrectly. So we'll only focus on that part for now. So if we have a closer look, we can see that 28 times 2, 28 times 3, so on and so forth, everything was done over here. So when we try and work this through, we can see that 152 minus 140 was supposed to be 12, which was incorrectly done. That is why Nick could not get the correct answer. So again, this is one of those questions which requires us, more than the accuracy. It's about the speed over here. So I'm sure that every one of you at some point of time would have got the answer correct. But again, you need to have that sort of vigilant eye um, at that very moment, right? So, a little change in the scoreboard. I can see a few smiling faces, a few unsmiling faces. I know grammatically that's incorrect, but that's kind of the word that I'm going for over here. Okay, let's move on to the next question, the ninth one. Again, Lee and Cyrus, compare them. Okay, the answers are coming in slow, so people are actually having a very vigilant eye on this. Good to hear that you people have been following what I've been asking you to do. Okay, so over here we have the answer predicting that Lee, because he multiplied 20 and 112 incorrectly. So let's see what Mr. Lee made the error over here. So here it says that Lee was supposed to be dividing 2853 by 112. If we have a closer look, that was the calculation error that was made by Lee. Again, not much to explain over here, but yes, like I said, you need to be very thorough as to how you're solving. So like, just a little pointer for you people. Over here, we can see that both of them were supposed to be doing the calculations in this of the same numbers. So what you could have done is you could have actually divided this by yourself and then compared your answers with Lee and Cyrus. So that was one of the bestest way of going through this. So let's see, Hennet, Sonryu, Teresa, Aditya, and Shoravi coming up very nicely for this. So next question. Let's have a look at it, the 10th one. So, okay. Matt is 35.827 inches tall. Eric is so much inches taller than Matt. How tall is Eric? Quickly. 7 answers so far. Okay, so the number of answers have kind of gone down. But let's see how many of you got it correct. So that's 5 of you. Now this was a little bit of a straightforward question. What we needed to do over here was that we have been given a word problem. We needed to find our way around it and get to the answer. So this one said that Matt is this much inches tall and Eric is this much inches taller than Matt. So we just needed to add those two quantities. So 35.827 added to 21.381 kind of gives us the answer as 57.208. Having a look at the scoreboard, we can see Keshav coming up in the top 5 and the rest of you maintaining your respective positions. Okay, good. Let's try with question number 11. It's quite similar to the question that we did prior to this. Don't worry, the question will be there on the next screen itself. Okay, 10 answers so far. Okay, 9 of you have got it absolutely correct. Now, Craig had a certain gallons of paint with him. Craig uses somewhat of it, so we need to subtract it. Subtracting, we get the answer over here as 1.018. Like I said, again, a very straightforward question. Okay, so Teresa, I don't have any words to say. I'm not going to reiterate myself again and again. But good job. Then Hennet, Sonryu, Shauryaveer, Keshav, again a great job. Along with that, Shravan, great job as well. Let's see the next one. 6.71 times 3.4. Quickly. My suggestion, multiply them in a normal manner, add the decimal points later. Okay. Wow, that's quite a distributed variation that we have over here. So 2 plus 3 plus 3, that's like 8 of you could not get it quite correct. Again, that's just simple multiplication. I don't think I have anything much to explain over here, but yes, by the looks of the faces that I can see you people, I think some of you have got it almost correct. That is why the smiles are there. So let's see. Okay, good, nice. So there's no change in the scoreboard whatsoever, but yeah, a few changes in the scores over here. Okay, try to choose the correct option. We need to divide 79.168 by 6.4. Quickly, try this out. Okay, so let's have a look. That's a nice turnover from having 2 people answering it correctly to 8 people answering it correctly. Good. So yes, it was a very, I would say, a very common division problem. So 79.168 was supposed to be divided by 6.4. Again, the smiling faces reflect that Aditya has made a comeback in the scoreboard with all of you maintaining your respective positions. So that's nice to know. Okay, so moving further, it's a word problem. Read it carefully, try to work it out even more carefully. Four answers so far. The time is running out, everyone. Okay, so 11 of you correct. I think you people do not like straightforward questions. You are fans of, word problems. Usually it's the other way around. Students, they really tend to dismiss the kind of problems that they have in word problems. But I think you people are fans of it. So sake has this many cups of flour. Sac B has 3.5 times as much as sake. So technically you just need to multiply these two. Now, the another thing that I've observed is if I tell you that you need to multiply 2 with 3, I'm sure everyone is going to answer me 5 because you people don't like straightforward questions. But if I tell you you need to perform A cross B and A equals 2, B equals 3, I'm pretty sure every one of you is going to get the correct answer is 6. So that is my understanding of how you people work so far. So let's have a score. Look at the scoreboard. Aditya coming in pretty fast. That's nice. And let's move ahead. So which of the following is the greatest common factor of 24 and 32? This should be pretty easy. Quickly, everyone. Okay. I expected the timer to, not have gone on for that long. So we needed to find the GCF, that is the greatest common factor of 24 and 32. even without working the process, we must be able to analyze that yes, it's 8 times 3, 8 times 4. So 8 is going to be the answer. Okay, scoreboard looks pretty much the same to me. Okay, Hannah wants to arrange her 6 black picture frames and 12 blue picture frames in rows on her bedroom wall. She wants each row to be made up of only one type of frame. What is the greatest number of frames? So, your best friend word problem is back again. Have at it. Okay, so 8 of you have got it correctly. So what we have as the answer here is that we needed to find the GCF. We needed to find the greatest number of frames that Hannah can have in each row. So that would have been the GCF. And the numbers that we have over here are 6 and 12. 6 and 12 have the GCF as 6. So that is how we have the correct answer. Okay, you people are very monotonous with the scoreboard, having the same thing over here exactly. So 2 roosters are crowing. One rooster crows every 7 seconds, while the second rooster crows every 8 seconds. If both roosters are currently crowing, how many seconds will pass until both roosters crow at the same time again? I'm not going to give you a hint as much as I am interested in giving it. Okay. Okay, so for this question, I am not going to explain the question. I want you people to tell me how exactly did you work this out. I'm not going to answer this. Okay, so I'm sorry, I won't be able to unmute you people. Somehow the settings of this meeting are framed in that manner. But you people, please take your time. Take a minute, take 2 minutes, as much as you want. Try to tell me in the chat section how did you work this out. So, I can have a better understanding of this. Okay, so when 8 and 7 cross paths, Sonryu is correct. Heneth is almost, yeah, Heneth is correct as well. Okay, Reyansh is correct. Okay, nearly all of you have got the correct answer. That's nice. So yes, when it says that when will they crow at the same time again, that would be the LCM. So 7 times 8 is 56. The reason why we are multiplying them is because 7 is a prime number. So the LCM is going to be the multiplication. Okay. Teresa has reached 5 digits. Henith, Aditya, Keshav, and Sonryu are following up next. And with 3 in a row, Sonryu is back in the game. Great. Perfect. So moving further. Okay. So this one says that what you need to do over here is you need to choose the correct option. You need to find the coordinates of A. Let's see if you people are able to work this out. 5 answers so far. 6. Okay, so 8 of you got the correct answer, 2 of you struggled a little bit. Let's see how exactly this was to be done. Now, before I discuss the question with you, I want to have a look at the answers with you people. Now, if you people are familiar as to how the coordinates work, this one has got positive x, positive y. This one has got negative x, positive y. This one has negative x, negative y. And this one has got positive x and negative y. So if you go through the first option, I'm not sure if it's that much blurred that you are not able to see, but it's like this is positive, this is negative, this is again positive, this is positive, this is negative, and this is positive. So even if you don't have a look at the numbers registered here, the very thought that should come to your mind is that the both answers, the both x and y coordinates should be negative, right? How many of you actually use this logic to work this question through? Let's have a vote. Genuinely. Tanya, you can see the game pin at the very bottom. I'll try to put it up over here in the. Okay, so Shravan used that. Is there anyone else who used it? So you can let me know. Okay, Tanya, I am sharing the meeting link, the game pin one more time. See if you're able to access it. Okay, so yes, that is absolutely correct. So this is how you're supposed to be catering to the questions. It's not just about, how well you're able to work it out, but it's also about how cleverly you're able to work it out. Which brings me to the scoreboard analysis, which is the same. Getting on with the 19th question. Let's see how to, it's a multi-select question. So Phoebe has 48.59 in a bank account. Vanessa has 84.31 in a bank account. Which inequalities represent the amounts Phoebe and Vanessa have there in their bank accounts? Analyze this very carefully. The options have been framed in a manner that you might be not quite able to evaluate the situation. We have 12 answers so far. I thought by now I would have all the answers from you people. Okay, so quite a lot of you have got the correct answer. Good job on this. So if we have a quick analysis of this question, 48.59 is definitely smaller than 84.31. 84.31 is definitely larger than 48.59. This does not work. This does not work. Right. So it should have been a little there in your mind that the smaller number is smaller than the greater number, or the greater number is greater than the smaller number. I know it sounds a little silly when I say that out loud, but there could only have been two correct answers for this. Small can be bigger than the small can be smaller than the greater one. Greater can be greater than the smaller one. Right. So there couldn't have been any more answers than that until and unless there's a copy and a paste of one of the following options. Is everyone getting my point here? Any queries, any doubts over here? Okay, wonderful. That brings me to the next part. Okay, I'm thinking of skipping the scoreboard thing entirely altogether because this is not changing at all. It's like I'm going to copy and I'm gonna keep it as it is there every time. You people can just keep a track of the scores. Okay, find the distance between the points. This is gonna be a tricky one. Okay, so I'm kind of a little, very slightly, but yes, a little disappointed that there wasn't a single question that all of you got the correct answers for. But let's see, we still have two, three more questions to go. Let's see if we can break that record. So, what is the distance between these points? So, how many of you are familiar as to how to work the answer out? This one, okay, so Heneth has the answer. Heneth, I will unmute you. Please explain to the class if you can, work this, like how exactly did you work this out? Parth, if you can help me in unmuting Heneth, please.
Sure, I did. Hey, Hannah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Heneth, all of us can.
Okay, so it was pretty easy. So if you see both the points, you can just count how many squares there are between them to get 4. Or and you have both the coordinates listed below, so you can do 3 plus the absolute value of -1 to get 4.
That is absolutely correct. We can just manually add the distance over here. What we can do is this is like 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. Or we can calculate the distance between 3 and -1. So when we do that, we get the answer as 4. Now I have a quick question for all of you. Let's see how many of you are able to, tell me the answer. So I'm giving you this much space to work. Okay, I'm giving you this much space to work, and I'm giving you a time of 1 minute. Okay, you need to tell me how many paths are there from point A to point B. You can only go vertical, you can only go horizontal, you cannot go diagonal. Have I made myself clear? Akhil, could you put it in the chat about your query so I can have an idea as to what do you need to discuss? I'm giving an exact minute to all of you. You need to identify how many paths can be created here. Okay, so Akhil has given me an answer. Akhil, I'm kind of glad I did not unmute you. Otherwise, everyone would have, had an idea if that was the answer or not. Shravan, that's 2 less. Try again. Okay, Henith has an almost answer for this. Okay, 45 seconds down, 15 more seconds to go. Teresa, this question is not there for the scoreboard. That doesn't mean you're not going to put in any efforts for this. Okay, Henith, aren't you answering twice? Okay, so time up everyone. Let's check. So what I will do is I will switch to another color. Okay, so one is this path. The other one is if I go up till this point and then I switch from here and I go here. Okay, so okay, let's try a way. What we will do is I want all of you to create a 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4. I want you to create a 5 cross 4 matrix, right? Create a 5 cross 4 matrix. On the 1 2 3 and 4, on the fourth line I want you to create a point A, and then 4 blocks down I want you to create point B, and take 10 minutes off your schedule. I know you people have very busy schedules. You have got lots of homework, lots of studies to work out for, but I want you to take 10 minutes off your schedule and try to find the answer. I think a minute was not quite enough, so some of you might got confused with this as well. So please try this out. Let's see how many of you are able to do this. Are the instructions clear what you need to do? Is everyone clear on this? A thumbs up might help. Okay, great. So let me try the scoreboard now. Again, same set of people, which brings me to the last question for the day. Waiting for every one of you to work this question through. It's a multi-select. Hope every one of you is keeping a check on that. Okay, so 12 and 6, a lot of you have got this correctly. So Yolanda is at a toy store at a mall located at point -2, 1. She's trying to find the pretzel stand. She knows the pretzel stand is either 4 units north or south from the toy store. So she is at -2, 1, which is right here. Which of the following could be the location of the pretzel stand? So she's either going 4 units north or south from the toy store. So 4 units north, that would mean 1 plus 4 is 5. So here, that brings the answer as option number A. 4 units down, that is 1 minus 4, that is negative 3, which brings Yolanda here. So that's either option A or either option D. So did every one of you understand the kinds of questions that we worked out today? Is everyone clear on this? Perfect. Great. So for one final time for today's class, let's have an analysis of the scoreboard. Hennet coming in third. Good. On second position, we've got Aditya. And at the first position, we have Teresa. Wonderful. Great job, Hennet, Teresa, Aditya, and the runners are Briansh and Sonryu. A perfect job. So it's like, Teresa had made it her life's honor to get the first position this time. But we're not done with the class quite yet. So, like always, just like the last time, we need to discuss a few things post the class that is there. So, what we have is that today we have covered the topic of number system, and a big congratulations to you people on that. But that does not mean that we have ended this. We did ratio and proportion the first time. We did number system today, and we have 3 more domains to work through. Third one is expressions and equations. I am kind of getting the feel from you people that a lot of you are going to have the best time in expressions and equations. Am I guessing that correctly? Is expressions and equations the favorite topic for all of you? I'm pretty sure no one is going to be a fan of geometry. That is one thing that I'm going to be extremely sure of. Okay. So based on the answers that I'm getting a mixed kind of a review. Some of you like expressions and equations. Oh, Heneth, you love geometry. I'm too sorry. Okay. So yes, a couple more answers indicate that we have a mixed reaction between geometry and expressions and equations. Okay, fine. So, like I said, we've finished off 2 domains. In the next class, that is expressions and equations on April 17th with the same time.